Hey everybody, it's Daniel. Welcome to beautiful New Orleans, Louisiana. I guess you could pronounce that in other more southern ways if you'd like. I'll just keep pronouncing it as New Orleans, Louisiana. This is going to be just a walk down to the French Quarter and hopefully to see the Mississippi River. And I don't know, I'll tell you about some of the things we're seeing along the way. Should be fun. So New Orleans is kind of a unique American city. It's got a Spanish influence, it's got a French influence. The United States bought the Louisiana territory from the French, I think around 1812, around the Napoleonic years, for very little money. And in those days, the Louisiana territory went all the way up to what we now call Minnesota, I believe. It was just this huge thing, starting with Louisiana at the bottom, but then everything above that. It basically doubled the size of the United States at the time. And well, this is just what I learned in high school history class. And yeah, so there's still a French influence because this was belonging to France for a while. It's got a unique kind of culture and cuisine because of that. So this is the French Quarter around Bourbon Street. It's early in the morning, so you really don't see the scene as it would be at night, but you know, generally Bourbon Street is not the most exciting thing in the world for me. It's basically like drunk tourism. I guess New Orleans is famous for that sort of tourism. It's kind of famous for like these bars that'll be open 24 hours a day, or they'll be open from 10 in the morning until 6 in the morning the next day, you know, closes for 4 hours. Just ridiculous schedules like that. And, you know, you can see people in the bars at all hours of the day. It's just kind of a cultural thing, I guess. I'm sure you've heard more than one Southern rock song that talks about New Orleans and Bourbon Street in particular for the bohemian vibe. They mention it in Truckin' by the Grateful Dead. They mention it in Proud Mary by Creedence Clearwater Revival, and probably dozens of other examples of songs. Anyway, the architecture here is more Spanish than French. The history is kind of a long story. I guess I'm not going to get into it because I'll just make a complete fool of myself. But the wrought iron balconies are kind of famous and popular in Spain with Spanish architecture at a certain point in history, and that's what this neighborhood is famous for as well. You may remember they had a big hurricane here in 2005, I think. Hurricane Katrina. It was a big deal. And well, because they're on the Mississippi River, they just have these levees that are supposed to keep the water out of the city. In the situation of this hurricane, it didn't really work, and a lot of stuff was totally wrecked. We're going to see the river pretty quick here, I guess. The neighborhood up where my hotel is looked like it's still got some problems. Like still got a lot of abandoned buildings and buildings that are sort of half destroyed. A lot of people couldn't really afford to fix things up, so they just left the city and you know, moved somewhere else, moved to Texas or to Alabama or something like that. The downtown parts of the city and the touristy parts look just like I remember from back in the day. Doesn't appear that much has changed, but the outlying areas definitely look a bit worse for the wear. The word cabildo is Spanish, and it's right here too. The cabildo is still a thing in the Canary Islands. It's the local governments, I guess, and here it was also the local government building, and this was a Spanish colony. Spanish influence is out there in places you don't really expect, I guess. You might also be familiar with the movie A Streetcar Named Desire with Marlon Brando. That's pretty famous for various reasons, and in that movie he shows up in the French Quarter of New Orleans and takes a streetcar. I don't know, it's famous for various reasons. For me, it's famous because every time I watch that movie I just wish I was Marlon Brando, but you might have other feelings about it. Okay, here's the river. The Mississippi River, as you might have guessed, is a large expanse of muddy brown water that sort of winds through the bottom of Louisiana. I mean, it also starts up in Minnesota and it comes all the way down. It's huge. It's got the whole freight scene out here, these giant container ships, and I don't know, you can take a steamboat if you want. I don't think it's legitimately a steamboat. I think it's a regular boat that is sort of made to look like a steamboat. You can also take a ferry across to the other side. I might do that a little bit later. Haven't really decided yet. But yeah, it's the mighty Mississippi. Maybe you can tell by some of the plants. The climate here is sort of tropical. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. It's already like 30 degrees and 90% humidity. Yesterday I got, there was a huge thunderstorm. I got all these flash flood warnings on my phone telling me that it's a dangerous, deadly situation. I didn't really think it was dangerous and deadly where I was, but I definitely got very, very wet trying to walk around, and it just rained for like hours, so there wasn't much I could do to avoid, you know, you can only stand around under an overhang trying to avoid the rain for so long before you just decide to go out and get wet anyway. So yeah, tropical climates and wetness. Nice and quiet. I don't know what this neighborhood is called. It's just past the French Quarter on Chartres Street, or however you might pronounce it. It's got all these nice colorful houses. I mean, where I'm from, we don't have old houses at all because the city just didn't exist before, you know, 1950. I'm exaggerating a little bit. It did exist before 1950, but there wasn't much happening. Not many people lived there, so just seeing old construction like this is cool. I guess it's part of the charm for a lot of Americans too, the sort of old architecture. Okay, this is Bywater. It's getting around toward about noon, so I might try to find some food. Yesterday I went to a place called Cooter Brown's Tavern, and I had fried catfish. It was excellent. Catfish is not a big thing where I'm from, but not a big thing in Spain either. But it was really good. Fried catfish and fried pickles. There's a lot of fried food around here. It's pretty heavy. They've also got a lot of po' boys. Po' boy is just a local name for like a baguette with stuff on it. In other words, a sandwich. Well, in Spanish we would call it a bocata or a bocadillo, because a sandwich is a different thing. I don't know, local names for essentially bread with stuff. So yesterday I had a po' boy, you know, after the catfish, I had a po' boy with shredded beef and fried shrimp. It was also very heavy. And the previous day I had another po' boy, which was shredded beef with green beans. That was pretty good. Yeah. Everything is very expensive now. I remember back in the day, we're talking 20 years ago, back in the day, spending $7 on a sandwich was ridiculous and expensive. Now it's like 13 bucks for anything. So, you know, times have changed here. Okay, I just saw this J&J's place on Google Maps and it looked pretty good, but up close it doesn't look all that good. I guess we'll find out right now. Okay, that was actually a pretty good experience. The pint of Pabst Blue Ribbon was only $2.50, which is about the best price on anything I've seen in all of the United States so far. Not that I've seen all of the United States, but you know what I mean. Great price. Anyway, I guess there's a barbecue restaurant right around here that's supposedly pretty good, so I'm gonna check that out. Okay, that was some very, very good brisket. The Joint in Bywater. I recommend it. Guess I'm gonna leave you here. This is just a small part of New Orleans. There's a lot more, but you know, I'm not walking the whole city today. It's just a little part. I also recommend the area of St. Charles Street and Riverbend. St. Charles Ave and Riverbend. You can walk or you can take the streetcar or whatever. Very nice area over there. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, etc. You are, of course, more than welcome to make a donation to the cause. I will put a link on the screen here and also down in the description, and you can donate something to the cause if you like these videos and want to sponsor my next plate of brisket or my next pint of beer. We're not doing vermouth in the US because, as far as I know, nobody in the US just drinks vermouth. I think you would be considered to be like out of your mind if you went to a bar and ordered a glass of vermouth here. But yeah, beer and brisket for sure. Anyway, enjoy. I'll leave you with the view of the Mississippi River. Have fun. Bye.